move to table until everybody's here.
Until future revision?
Yeah, so that everyone can review the minutes. Okay, all right, we're gonna start. I guess he's ready. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Beautification Committee, I call this meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please? Here?
Richard Carranza, Romeo Robles Jr.,
Here.
Olivia Ramirez,
Here.
Frank Santana, Ricardo Pedraza, Ray Cano, Maricruz Gracia, Crystal Medina, here, Cynthia Puente, and Joe Perez.
Okay, thank you, Crystal. I need a motion on the floor, please, to excuse any absent board members.
Madam Chairman, I move to excuse the absent board members. I know they had graduations and work schedules.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Robles, and I need a second for that motion. Okay, thank you, Ms. Ramirez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Being there's no opposition, that motion passes. We move on to item B, invocation. Let us be still for a moment. Open up our hearts. Today being the National Day of Prayer, in keeping with the theme, to love one another, as I have loved you, John 13:34. Let us pray for America, for the churches in America, for our families, our workplaces, our communities, our cities. Let us pray for all the people in America, that they may love one another and understand God's ever-present love for us. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
We move on to item 2, which is administrative, 2A, the approval of minutes.
I move that we table the minutes.
Okay, Ms. Ramirez moves that we table the minutes.
Second.
The reason being until everyone is here
Okay.
to review them.
And it is so that way everyone can be present to review them. And I believe Mr.
Second.
Mr. Robles, second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, being that there's no opposition, the motion carries. We move on to 2B, which is the Keep Texas Beautiful. I'm gonna just briefly share a little bit about that. Again, currently we're an active affiliate in good standing. I believe our goal should be to move to become a silver, possibly even a gold star member. Also, I just wanted to make the committee aware that in the Keep Texas Beautiful initiative, that we can vie for Governor's Community Achievement Awards. And those awards are based on population. In the last year of 2018, given the population that we could compete with, which is 65,001 to 90,000, there were only 2 recipients, rather 2 winners. The winner being Baytown won $270,000 in landscape award money. That's a lot of money. In the combined 10 winners of the different categories of based on population, there were slightly over $2 million given. And I'm bringing this up again as a reminder as to why this is important. We could be vying for this money. So I believe the goal should be that we as a community, we are doing a lot already. We are doing a lot. This award is based on 7 areas. and it's based on community leadership and coordination, public awareness, education, beautification and community improvement, litter prevention and cleanup, solid waste management, litter law and illegal dumping enforcement. So just in highlighting those areas, we can see by participating in Operation Clean Sweep, our Great American Trash Off, and everything that Public Works is doing, we are covering a lot of those areas. Now, what happens is we're scored, right? We're scored in this application process. And the goal should be to do our best to try to be a winner, right? But at the very least, to score a 90 so we could become an excellence, right? And so we could receive an award of excellence and be at least deemed that, right? So I bring that up. I also bring up that there are another set of awards that we could vie for, which is the Keep Texas Beautiful Awards. Again, we could sit down and decide. It's based on leadership. You know, they're individual awards. They're honorees that vie for these different categories. So Senior Citizen Awards, Volunteer of the Year Award, Litter Law Enforcement Award, civic organizations can also vie for this. Business and industry awards, media awards, government awards, depending on population, youth leadership awards, which come to mind, like we've got a middle school who's participating in some reforestation. We've got another school that's participating in some wonderful programming. And then we have educators and educational institution awards. So 2 different sets, all under the umbrella of Keep Texas Beautiful. I bring it up because the annual conference is June 18th through the 20th in Rockwall, Texas. And I believe that the city is going to send representation to this conference, which will be very, very important in helping us achieve this. Helping us achieve and fill out the information we need to fill out these forms, these applications, because they're application processes. I know that I will now let Ms. Crystal talk a little bit about it. She'll come to the mic.
Hello, Crystal Medina with the Public Works Department. So yes, as Mrs. Caballero just mentioned, Mr. Pedraza did let Cynthia and I sign up for the conference, so we will be attending the conference this year. Mr. Gatto, hopefully he'll be able to also attend with us. We do plan to take a whole ton of notes trying to get these awards for the city. As Mrs. Caballero mentioned, we're already doing more than half of these 7 different brackets. So it's just a matter of getting that knowledge of how to fill out that application accurately and then turning it in. And more than likely, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get that award for the city. So there is plenty of monies available. It's just a matter of sitting down, getting that information together and applying and, hopefully getting it. So I am currently doing everything that I can to keep everything together and file everything and having pictures of all the stuff that the city is doing with the community. So as long as that keeps, up to date, I think that as soon as we are available to apply for it, which is in January 1st, we'll be able to get everything together. And then, Cynthia and I and the other coordinator will probably sit down and do it all together before we turn it over to Mr. Pedraza, kind of just to review everything. So as of now, we have been doing every event possible. So there's a lot of checks that we're already doing as far as, especially this past weekend on Saturday. We did the Great American Cleanup, and under that, we also incorporated the Don't Mess with Texas Trash Off. We celebrated Arbor Day. We did flower planting as well. And then we did participate in another activity, which was the Road to Recycling, not under KTB, but still, it was 5 events within one day. So there's already, you know, a lot of things that we're doing. It's just, you know, we just got to apply. So we're excited to go.
Now, before you sit down, Ms. Crystal, I just wanted to reiterate that our population in 2017 of Pharr was 79,500. And the bracket that we competed, or that we can compete in currently, is 65,001 to 90,000. Given that we're about to undergo a new census, 2020, I'm not sure we're going to surpass that 90,000, but I'm going to tell you that the next bracket is tough, because it's 90,001 to 180,000. So that's going to be a different baby. It's going to be, we're going to be competing with the likes of, let me see, I wrote it down here. We're going to be competing with the likes of big Abilene, Denton, and Pearland, Texas. And that's huge. You know, we'll be like the 90,002, you know, to 170,000 population. So, you know, they'll have more resources, obviously, right? So, needless to say, that's why I'm really hoping that this calendar year of 2019, when the application process opens up January 1st of 2020, that we have all our little eggs in the appropriate basket, so that way we can just implement the information into the application. And the due date is February 15th of 2020. Now, the positive thing about attending KTB, the Keep Texas Beautiful conference in Rockwall, as they did this past year, they had a conference room available where they had all the winning cities, their actual application with photographs and whatnot. And you were not allowed to take pictures, you were not allowed to take notes, but you were certainly allowed to peruse the applications and view the pictures. And at many times, they actually had representatives there helping to explain. So you get to actually view the application. So it's, I guess, very much like grant writing. You have to make sure you hit all sorts of little bullets in order to accomplish, to get the grade needed to win. So I bring it up for that reason, and I'm excited. I'm excited for y'all. And Mr. Cano gets to go. He's, as an administrator, he'll add a whole lot of weight to that, to help you get the information that you need. So I thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
No. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
Okay. So we covered their item 2A. I'm sorry, 2B, which is Keep Texas Beautiful. Under that was the Governor's Community Achievement, the awards, and the annual conference. We move on to 2C, which is discussion of mural at our downtown park here, which is on the north side and south side of City Hall. So we're naming this the downtown park. There's been a directive from the mayor for this committee to come up with a mural, and basically come up with a mural and just bring it to the table. So I open it up for discussion, for ideas. Mr. Robles, you were able to attend the livestock show. You were there probably several days.
Yes.
Did you witness the murals that were coming up throughout the course of the week? Wasn't that amazing?
That was
And it was very cultural to the
our area.
area. So I don't know what you thought of that.
I mean, first of all, it was fascinating to watch that guy work. Because he was doing the murals as people were walking by and using spray cans. And boy, at the end, they're just like so much detail in faces. It's just, it's just amazing work. and I think that if we're going to do a mural, it needs to be, I think, representative of the history of Pharr. That would be my first, I guess, requirement, because after all, we should be showcasing the city. And, you know, I know that probably there's archives here at City
Oh, yeah.
Hall
And at the
that
library.
that could be used, or pictures in the archives that could be used kind of as a historical, you know, timeline of Pharr. So,
I know that there was a historical society, committee, I believe, and I believe at one point here. And so, perhaps we need to tap into their expertise, right? But certainly, this gentleman had these big panels, and I want to say it was wood,
yeah, plywood, 4x8 sheets of plywood,
and
just,
he pre-drew on them, but even then it was just a brief sketch, because standing away you could not really, you're like, well, I think that's going to be a cowboy on a horse, or because it was like, so then as every day he basically attacked one panel, and at certain time of the day he started, and by the end of the day, the evening, he finished. And you would think, you could not imagine what a can of spray paint that, you know, we've all used spray paint for something to touch, you know, but this gentleman used it it was like a paintbrush. When he finished, they were impeccable. From the little light in the eyes of the old man with the wrinkles. Wow. It's like, how do you get wrinkles like that? Like, how do you do that with a can of spray paint? But he had his boxes, and they were all the colors, and he would put it back in the right box, and he would reach. He was a work of art to see, because it was. Wow. So I thought of him. I've reached out to the livestock show for his contact information. All right, so now we'll go to a more familiar theme. I know that Parks and Rec has recently launched. They're opening up the aquatic center again to the public. Right, they're been announcing on Instagram and whatnot. But they recently had some murals made as well. Of course, they're more water friendly, but they also have a couple of young adults who have designed, and they put those murals together at the aquatic center. They've also have another artist that they've brought in to do some of those walls, not the graffiti wall, but some of the walls. I know that when we were out there for Halloween at the Parks and Rec, they had some beautiful Halloween themed big murals where a lot of families were taking pictures in front of them.
Would it be that size?
Again, you know, we don't know where he wants it, but he wants a mural.
is it going to be the same on both sides, or a continuation of the mural?
You know, he talked about a mural, and then in my world of thinking, I thought, okay, a mural's great, you know, let's do a mural. And then on the other side, maybe incorporating it with HubFest, have an art show where we get our students involved in like the annual art show, where that's an ever-changing, ever-evolving kind of thing, where kids will want to bring their parents or kids would want to bring kids. What brings people out? Something that's ever-changing, something that's evolving, like a living, like that. That gentleman, people were always standing around watching him because he was creating a new mural every day. People would stand there and watch. So it was ever changing. I'm not saying it's possible, but perhaps we could bring in our youth, our talented arts programs at our high schools to do some sort of art show, art walk, kind of thing on the south side, or vice versa, where we bring the community in to share, right? But I will get the specifics
Okay.
on the size and the location of the mural. I know that I've walked around. We do have some concrete that I'd kind of like not to see concrete because it's the berm on, I'm getting confused with the location. So is this north?
Mhm.
The amphitheater has a lot of exposed concrete. I'm not sure what if Parks and Rec has some idea for that. You've seen it. It's just kind of, but I know it's not done yet. So, if you could think about some ideas, hopefully when the other gentlemen are back, we'll have more of a presentation. We'll have some, pictures of the different artists, and we'll know, do you want like a valley scene from a local artist that does oils, or will a mural like what we saw? I'm sure you apply a finish on that, and that could
Probably
that could
protect it,
last
yeah.
for a while. And of course, murals fade, and they need to be either touched up or replaced. And it could be an ever-evolving 2-year project or what have you. But a continuous historical rendition of our community. ¿Verdad?
I think so.
Okay. So next time we'll have some visuals for you. Okay. All right. So that's that with the downtown park. We move on to 2D status report on recommendations by Beautification Committee. I'm wondering if Mr. Cano, you can help us with that, or you may not be able to, but this is in regards to we had made some suggestions based on our trolley ride out south, and so these this report would be on how are we doing with, for example, the heavily recommended by the committee was a welcome sign at Cajun Military. That was like, I think all of us kind of like, that was one of our top three. Another thing that was recommended was truck route signage, and I thought of you, Mr. Robles, because I believe you were the first one to mention that. I saw a number of trucks the other day get pulled over on Cage, right here between north of HEB and just south of Michoacana. That little area right there, they were, so apparently our truck route signage needs some help, and I'm sure that that's not just Public Works, it's probably also having to do with TxDOT, but that was gonna be looked into. The other, one that received some votes by the committee was DRC signage. Did we ever get the signage on there? So I don't know if you have any responses for me or for us, for the committee.
Good afternoon, members. For the record, my name is Reynaldo Cano. I'm the Assistant Director for Public Works.
Thank you.
On the signage, I do not have an answer on the signage. I need to look into that.
Okay.
But on the ones for the truck route, we are working with TxDOT for that signage. We do have a designated truck route that they should be following, according to the map that I have here. And we have already the places where we're gonna be placing those signs where it'll do much more good to it. But as far as the signs for the DRC, I need to look into that with Mr. Pedraza to see where we're at on that. That usually gets taken care of by our division, which is our traffic division, and they're the ones that make the signs or either have it sourced out to get the signs done. So maybe we might already have them in the process of getting made, but I don't have an answer as far as that.
Okay. Committee, do you remember the signage that there was not even anything identifying, there was not an identifying signage, right? We didn't
No.
see anything. So that was the concern, that there was no signage.
And these
On
were
the-
the ones that were gonna be placed at,
The
on
DRC.
military, as far as
no, I
think-
like welcoming
Yeah.
signs,
That
correct?
welcome sign, and I think Mr. Pedraza was gonna look into, I know in one of the renderings that we saw, the archway that is proposed here, in
Oh, yeah, doing
downtown.
something over
Maybe
there.
doing something like that over there. So he was gonna look into those possibilities.
He also talked about possibly initially a banner that could be changed out seasonally. Was that
Correct.
something? He threw out some options. And so if you could get back with him, these recommendations were based on the trolley ride we took earlier in the year.
Yes.
And so we just want to make sure that those concerns that were addressed by not only our committee, but they were based on the survey that was given out, and we compiled them. And then from there, we as a committee took the ones that kept coming up, like the ones we kept seeing. And so the ones we kept seeing were those obviously, we have a welcome sign to come into the city. It would be great if it was on this, coming in from the south side.
And the ones that on DRC also, correct?
Yeah, the signage on DRC, the welcome sign coming in off of, onto, like out of the bridge zone into, if you're heading north on Cage, right there at Military, welcome to the city of Pharr, something, that will welcome, we'll say that welcome, bienvenidos or something.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'll follow up on that, and that way,
Okay.
we'll have an answer for you for our next meeting.
Sure do appreciate it, Ray. Sure do appreciate it. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ray. Oh, yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to mention just a couple of things that went on as far as some events that we had.
Okay,
We did have a ribbon cutting for our new recycling center,
okay.
which is right here downtown, just south of Moore Road, next to our police department.
Okay, Ray, can I interrupt you for a minute?
Yes,
For
ma'am.
the record, that is just for the video. This is now 2F, status report, Public Works. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ray.
Yes, the new recycling center that we just opened up. And we also had an OCS, Operation Clean Sweep, just this past weekend, the 27th. At that event, we also had Arbor Day, which was the planting of the trees, some of the flowers that we had. We had 64 volunteers. We collected 12.71 tons of trash,
Wow.
which is roughly about 25,420 pounds. And we collected 405 tires in that one OCS. I think it's probably been the most that we've collected as far as trash combined into two of them. We've collected quite a bit of trash that one day. We were getting calls on Friday from police department saying that they already have people dumping that day, that same day that they dropped off the roll-offs. Unfortunately, we can't really stop them. I'd rather they dump it there than for them to be dumping in the drainage ditch, to where we're gonna have to go in there, remove it, and it's just a little more work on us. Our next OCS will be on May the 18th, and that'll be at the sports complex. That's right across from the police department. That'll be on May the 18th.
That's on the east side, right? That's across the street. That's on the east side.
Yes.
Of the police department. That's the sports complex.
Normally, we would have had it on the 25th, but it's so close to Memorial
Graduations? Yeah.
and graduations, and also it was scheduled for the May the 18th.
And that's at 8 to 12, like
It's from 8 to 12, yes.
Okay, very good.
And we also had an event just recently where we had the renaming of Javelina, which was Rancho Blanco, which is now Javelina Drive. They also did Earth Day. They were out there planting trees after that ceremony. That was at Southwest
High school.
High School.
That's gonna be beautiful.
Yes. Once those trees get going, it's gonna be nice. And also the sign.
The sign is,
Very
yeah.
nice sign.
Very nice sign. And that'll be all the way from South Cage all the way to Veterans? That'll be all Javelina Drive?
Actually, it'd be both east and west.
East and west?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, because if we do one, we can't stop it right there. It needs to
So
continue.
El Rancho to the east, to the west will be Jabalina Drive.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Any
Any
further
questions,
questions
committee?
that you?
Not a question, just a comment on the last OCS. You know, I'm take this opportunity to commend Public Works for getting the word out. So I know one of the issues that we talked about that we needed to address with this committee was to educate the public. Apparently, Public Works is doing a great job of educating the public, the residents of the city of Pharr, because, correct me if I'm wrong, we had to turn away people because we had no more space
Yes.
for
we did.
materials.
But what we did is we still accommodated them. We had somebody here at the facility which was accepting whatever they had.
Okay.
Because again, we rather have them dump
Yeah.
where we can control it instead of them dumping in the canals or in the drain ditches to where we have to go out there and pick them up anyways, so.
Yeah, but I was pleasantly surprised at the number of people that said, you know, there's a place to throw away the stuff that we don't want or don't need. Let's go do it the right way. So commend you
We
guys for
usually
that.
get a real good participation south of Pharr. We didn't expect this much, but for next time, we'll just be a little more prepared. We'll take extra
So we'll
roll-offs.
get more roll-offs at
Yes.
that time? Oh, good, yeah. On this one that's coming up, what actually can they throw away? What can you-
Basically,
Same.
everything and anything. Again, we were accepting furniture, we were accepting appliances, any kind of metal. The only thing we weren't accepting was like automobile parts. That they do need to take it to like a junkyard and drop that off. But other than that, we were accepting, if you're doing like a remodeling of a single room, we'll accept some of that material.
I mean, I saw curtains to chairs to.
Yes,
to-
dining
to-
room
yeah,
sets.
dining room sets, chandeliers. I was just,
Yeah.
and I was happy because
Mhm.
even at 8 o'clock, there was a line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There was a
already.
line of people, and I
Already.
was very happy to see that.
And to see all the children out there.
To see the kiddos,
Pick-
to
you
see
know,
the
clean up.
parents, the families, the teachers, and the sponsors of the volunteers out there, and asking Miss Crystal and Miss Cindy, when's your next one? And taking their phones and logging it on their phones because they want to participate next time. The Girl Scout troop, Home Depot.
Very good turnout. I
Home
was
Depot.
pleasantly surprised at how much fun it was.
Yep.
And even the kids had their hands all
Oh,
dirty.
they were
They
like,
didn't
They had a
mind.
blast.
No.
and you know what? The staff is to be commended.
Yes.
They were out there stretching.
Oh, yeah.
One of your employees ran the warm-up exercises, correct, right?
Yes.
And the gentlemen, there was a smile on their faces. They were all just getting in the roll-offs, making sure there was nothing in there that wasn't supposed to be. I was just,
Yeah.
it was a very nice day.
Organized, very organized, too.
Very nice day.
Mhm.
So hats off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Hats
you.
off. All right, thank you, sir. So that covered, Ms. Crystal, do you have anything else to add on Earth Day or Operation Clean Sweep from your angle? Yes, because that was status report for Public Works. So we're gonna backtrack now to item 2E. Administrative 2E is Earth Day and Operation Clean Sweep events at Jones Box on April 27th. Ms. Crystal.
Yes, so Crystal Medina, Public Works. Yes, so we did actually have all of those events going on all together. We did have Home Depot donate the mulch for us, and then Cynthia went ahead and purchased the flowers that we were planting. So we had 55 flowers that we planted and 5 trees that we planted. Event was amazing. It's all over social media. There's a whole ton of photos that are, circulating. We had a Girl Scout troop show up, and then we had Idea Awasa children also show up, first graders. So we had, several little ones that were there with their parents helping each other out. We also had Miss Heidi Stream from the Santa Ana Wildlife Refuge to join us, and she was describing a little bit more in detail to the kids what the benefits of those flowers were going to do for us, in the long run. It was a beautiful event, a whole ton of people that came out. Coming on Monday after the OCS, Cynthia, the other coordinator, Claudia, and myself, we went out and we planted 4 more trees out there. We planted them. Everything was still great. Unfortunately, I believe Monday evening going into Tuesday, something must have happened because we got a call from the Parks and Rec letting us know that there was some damage to some of the flowers that had been planted. Cynthia was the first one to go out there, and then she let me see the photos, and then yesterday I checked it out just to see, if everything was still okay. In total, I would say maybe half of them are still okay. The area in front of Jones Box Park where the sign is there, that signage, unfortunately did get vandalized. Well, not vandalized, but destroyed. The GoldenEye daisies were ripped apart and kind of, just destroyed. We did salvage as much as we could. We have them back at the office right now, and we're trying to revive them and kind of, give them life again. So as long as that happens, we're just thinking about, where we're going to replant those. And I know Mr. Cano had told me that we are going to replace everything that was destroyed out there at the park, just to let the community know that we are trying our best to beautify the city as much as possible. Unfortunately, maybe, there may have been young kids who may have done that, and they just don't see the importance of this part yet. But hopefully with the help of the community, the awareness can now be there. We're trying our best. So if we can have eyes, also there, if anybody sees anything that they think is not right, let PD know. There's always patrol there. So right now we do have a watchtower out at that location right now, just to kind of, monitor it and see, and hopefully nothing else happens. But, the awareness is there, and it was a really beautiful event, and that is not going to take away from that Saturday event, because it was a great turnout. And if you look at the pictures, all of the students, all of the teachers, all of the staff, we had a really, really good time. So although it was working time for me, I did feel like I was having fun, and that's what it's all about. So, we do plan to replant them. We'll let you guys know when that's going to happen, and we'll let PD know just when it does happen. Let's get a little bit more monitors out there just in case. So yes.
Thank you.
So before you sit, I just, because I need you to help me because my memory. The 55 plants were more native, right?
Yes.
And the 5 trees were also native.
Yes.
These plants and trees were purchased by Public Works through it's a program that our Friends of the Wildlife Corridor and Liberty Middle School have this initiative where they are trying to create this awareness of planting native and the importance of planting native. So that was a good thing. It was good for us. Thanks to Mr. Alan Williams for leading us in that direction. And again, having Home Depot there and getting their hands dirty, and they were going to donate plants initially, but I believe Crystal went back and said, we need some mulch.
Yes, because they didn't have a big selection of
But
native.
that's okay. We needed something to cover the plantings. Yes. To keep them moist, mm-hmm. and to keep them protected. And so thank you for and of course that they were out there. Home Depot had people out there, and which was amazing. They were excited, and if they see the excitement in the community, they see the involvement, they're going to want to participate and be our partners again. So that's a win-win. Heidi Stream was amazing, park ranger with Santa Ana. She lives right behind the park. She kept saying, that's my blue house over there. So she takes a lot of pride in her community, and we're very blessed and lucky to have her help educate the kids. And being her, she was in her park ranger
Yes.
attire, so that was quite
Mhm.
impressive. And we all kept telling her, you have the best job. So again, you know, things happen. We all have planted, and we've all lost some of our plantings. This may not have been, may have been more purposeful that, you know, someone went, but I really feel it was probably an unattended child that didn't know any better. And and I'm glad, Mr. Cano, that you say we will replant. It gives the community hope, you know, that we are not going to let a few of these things disrupt our focus, right?
Right.
So again, thank you, Ms. Crystal, and again, Ray Cano, Public Works, Cynthia Puente, the whole crew. Job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Job well done. Thank you. Job well done. Okay, well, wow. A lot. It's a lot. All right. So we've met all our little checks. Now I'd like to open it up for any comments or announcements from the committee. Comments, announcements,
Can't think of any.
things you might want to share. No, okay. Well, again, a big thank you, shout out to Public Works for Saturday, the 27th of April. Outstanding job, all of you. Again, you heard me mention the 2020 census. I just want to say, be on the lookout, City of Pharr, those listening, your voice matters. You count. It's our future. And so that's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to give you a little tidbit. So, you know, we celebrated Earth Day was Monday, the 22nd of April. National Arbor Day was Friday, the 26th of April. And of course, we had our big event the last Saturday of April, which was the 27th. So I'm going to just announce that, did you know that the state of Texas has its own Arbor Day date, which is always the first Friday in November. So that is November 1st. So perhaps we could look into something for Texas Arbor Day. Just a comment. Another comment I have is, it was brought up again at OCS at our event from Ms. Cristina Hernandez, ready to go mow some lawns. And so I did already contact legal just to see how viable is it for volunteers to possibly go out and when we do have an Operation Clean Sweep, maybe mow a lawn or two of citizens who are in need, and I'm talking about the elderly who are alone. And but we're gonna see what legal has to contribute to that. And of course, we'd use our own equipment, but we would piggyback it with Operation Clean Sweep somehow, because obviously you take a quadrant, you're trying to clean up that quadrant, and mowing someone's yard would be cleaning up that quadrant somehow. But that would be volunteers. So just an idea and a comment we're working on. Gosh, I had a number 6 here and it's gone. So that's a good thing. All right, parting comment before we discuss our next meeting is by Albert Einstein. Look deep into nature and you will understand everything much better. So we are looking forward to our next Beautification Committee meeting to be held the first week in June, as per Hilda Pedraza and her letting us know when this conference room is available. Okay, so we look forward to meeting again then. We're going to keep our education process going by sharing with people about everything Public Works and what the city is doing to beautify the city and to get trash off our streets and where to put their tires and where they can't dump their limbs and whatnot. So until then, I need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Ms. Ramirez makes a motion. I need a second.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? There being no opposition? This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.